let's talk about freelance writing for dietitians. Now, I've got my notes here, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about freelance writing. What is it? We're going to talk about my story and really my journey to freelance writing. It actually was the very first side hustle I ever had. I'm going to share with you guys some examples of freelance writing I've done and kind of how I found those opportunities. I'm going to talk to you guys about where you could potentially find some gigs and then some free resources I've made for you. So freelance writing, what is it? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but essentially it's where you are getting paid as a freelancer on a contract basis to write as a dietitian, because we all have amazing expertise. A lot of us have different niches and specialties that really we are experts in nutrition, and a lot of people are looking to us to create content for them online. Now, this can be in the form of creating blog articles, writing course content, writing email sequences, writing maybe even product descriptions or even books. I mean, there are so many things that we could do as dietitians for writing. And when I talk about freelance, it means contract work. So it's not like you have a full-time job and like they have you write a newsletter as part of your job. That's just part of your job. Freelance writing is where you have a contract to do a gig. And so it's nice because there's flexibility in that. You could do that from home. If you're on your laptop, you do that from the park. You could do it wherever you want to, and usually on your own schedule. So there's typically, you have an assignment, you have a deadline that you have to get it completed by. But, if you want to work on it in the morning, at nighttime, a bunch at once, spread it out, it's completely up to you. So it's really a wonderful opportunity for dietitians. And again, this was my first side hustle opportunity. Now, if you've ever heard me share my story about how I got into side hustling, it all happened because I sat next to a dietitian on a plane, started talking to her, learned she was an entrepreneur. She ended up owning a company called Nutrition Dimensions, which is a continuing education company for dietitian, more written form, not like webinars or courses, but written CE articles. And anyways, I'm not going to tell you guys the whole story, but I developed a relationship with her and got my first side hustle gig where I got paid to update continuing education papers for this company, Nutrition Dimensions. And I will tell you, it was pretty amazing because at that time, I'm a volunteer. I volunteer within the field, within the academy, within CDR. It's just what I do. I've been doing so much volunteer work, the idea that I could do something on the side that was fun and actually get paid for it, I was amazed. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I actually probably spent too much time nursing my daughter and writing articles. I was doing freelance writing while nursing, caused some back injury, like some back pain from like really bad posture. I do not recommend trying to spend hours freelance writing while breastfeeding, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But it really was a great side hustle opportunity for me for several years because of the flexibility that it provided. So that's a little bit of my story. I'm going to share my screen. So I am streaming in through Zoom. Let me share my primary screen because I have some things pulled up. I just want to share with you guys what, freelance writing might look like. There are so many dietitians out there writing. There are tons of examples, but I'm just going to share a couple of them and how they came to be. So this is an example of a continuing education course that I updated and wrote. And this is, Nutrition Dimensions has been sold and kind of switched companies a few times. Now it's under Elias, but this is just an example. This is a continuing education article. So dietitians can purchase this, other healthcare professionals can purchase this, and they get 10 hours of CE credit. And it's just this big old long course that I helped to write and got paid to create. And it was super fun. And I am a geriatric dietitian. For those of you who don't know me, that is my specialty. I've been a geriatric dietitian for nearly 13 years. So as I kind of share some of these examples, you'll see there's a theme here. So this was one example, and this was one of the first actual papers that I wrote for this company. I've updated it twice, and this was all, again, by just circumstance. Sometimes opportunity presents itself and it's really amazing. So, this was just really an opportunity because I sat next to a dietitian on a plane coming back from Fancy. So it wasn't completely random. It was an event with thousands of dietitians, and we just happened to live in the same town. So here's another example of a freelance writing gig I had. And this was through Today's Dietitian magazine. I will tell you, I kind of geeked out when I got this gig because, we don't have too many magazines in the dietitian world, right? I mean, mean, Today's Dietitian, at least to me, is kind of a big deal. And when I got published in Today's Dietitian, I was just through the moon. I was so excited. This gig came because I was doing webinars for a company called Dietitian Central, continuing education webinars. And actually the editor of Today's Dietitians happened to, I don't know if she saw the webinar I did or heard about it, but it was all about nutrition end of life. It's a topic I'm very passionate about. So she reached out to Dietitian Central, this webinar company, and said, hey, can you connect us with this author? They connected the editor with me, and we ended up working together, and I got paid to create this article. Now, I will tell you, because I was geeking out over Today's Dietitian, I probably would have written their article for free, but it was so cool to get paid, right? So this is one I wrote several years ago, and it's also online in addition to print. So here's another example of some freelance writing I've done for, this is through the, oh gosh, I forget their acronym sometime. It's the education component of Meals on Wheels of America. Because I'm a geriatric dietitian, you know, again, this is my field, this is my area. I got this gig, I would say primarily through volunteering within the Healthy Aging Dietetic Practice Group, and just through networking, just, you know, making myself known, letting people know that I'm a writer and have this area of expertise. I'm a board certified specialist in gerontological nutrition. So I had this opportunity to write some, I think you can call them like maybe a white paper. It's just some nutrition briefs. They're really meant for the general public, which I don't know about you guys, but I like taking stuff that's kind of complicated and breaking it down to where the consumer can understand, like, you know, here's the basics of what you need to know. So this was a series of, I believe, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. These are 6 papers that I wrote for the educational component of Meals on Wheels of America. It is NRCNA. I know the acronym, but it's the Nutrition and Aging Resource Hub is where they live right now. And then another example of some freelance writing I've done in the past is writing blog articles. So I've written a series of blogs for RD Nutrition Consultants. They are a wonderful company, have a wonderful website. And I actually found them through a company or a website called Upwork. I'm going to talk to you guys about Upwork in a minute. Maybe you've heard of them before, but I really lucked out that I found this gig. I actually wrote for them for over a year. You know, it was each paper was on a contract basis. So, you know, I had a contract to write this one, then this one, this one, but we had a continued relationship for over a year, and they're, you know, a lovely company, and they were wonderful to work for. And again, it was in my area of geriatrics. So, you know, it was just stuff that came easy to me and was fun to write. So those are 4 examples just of some freelance writing gigs that I've done that I wanted to pull up and just share with you guys some examples of what that looks like. And next I want to talk to you guys about, let me see. I want to talk to you guys about making money through freelance writing. Almost forgot about this piece. So I always like sharing numbers. I like talking about money. So on my website, dietitiansidehustle.com, I do an annual income report. So I've only have 2, one from 2019, one from 2020. So I know this is kind of a lot of party going on here, but what we're looking at is I break down my income sources. So I am a big advocate of having multiple streams of income. So that way money's coming in through multiple ways. If you can build up streams of passive income where you're not trading your time for money, even better. But this is just really breaking down where I was making my money through my side hustle. Now in 2019, I made about, you know, $3,800 through freelance writing. And those were all just, you know, independent gigs that I did, just one-off contracts. And so at that time, you know, in 2019, I wasn't making a ton of money through my side hustle, but I was making, you know, a little over $7,000, and freelance writing made up about 50% of my side hustle work. Moving forward to 2020, I made a little bit less. I made $3,200. And, you know, as my side hustle has grown, I've incorporated more streams of passive income. And you can see here in 2020, it actually made up less than 8% of my income. I made $33,000. I made a lot more money, but what happened is I started having more streams of income. You can see here that we're not in 2019 making money through affiliate sales, selling my own ebooks, doing coaching, having a course. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of from a financial perspective with my side hustle. I do a lot of different things, but when I was doing freelance writing, I was making around $3,000 per year. But yeah, just wanted to share that piece really quick. Another thing too, I no longer do freelance writing. That is something I made a commitment to when 2021 rolled around. I decided I was not going to do freelance writing, and I'm going to tell you guys why really quick, because I know I'm teaching you guys all about freelance writing. It's great. 100%, it's great. But I mentioned I'm a fan of having multiple streams of income, making money through lots of different ways. Now, over time, as you continue to grow and build your side hustle, your brand, whatever you decide to do, I've just realized if I create my own brand, and I'm a blogger, that's my main thing I do. If I create my own brand, I can make so much more money. When you're doing freelance work for other people, you're writing for them, they're paying you to write that article. You get paid once, one and done. For the most part. I mean, sometimes if you write a book, you might get some royalties, but for the most part, it's one and done. Now that company is paying you to write that content for a reason, because they are intending to use that content to continue to grow and expand their business and make more and more money. But when you're being paid as a freelancer, there's a cap. You're only going to make so much money. And it's great in the meantime, you get to learn to write, you get to, spread your expertise, you're making money now. So I do love freelance writing. But as I've built my business, I've realized having my own blog, writing for myself, learning search engine optimization, and having a strategy to grow and monetize my own blog, I can make so much more money writing for myself versus writing for other people. As I've grown my business, it was really this balance between what's going to pay me now versus what will pay me more later. Because when you build a blog, you're creating content and not getting paid. You just have this vision and this understanding that if I keep doing this work, I will be making money. So again, in 2021, I did stop doing freelance writing because I am making money through my blog, through ad revenue, selling cookbooks, courses, affiliate sales, all kinds of things. And I do make so much more money through the blog compared to what I was doing with freelance writing. And it's all passive income. So I'm not trading time for money. Examples of this with ads on my website. I make over $2,000 per month in ad revenue. That's completely passive. I'm not trading time for money. So that's next year when I do my 2021 income report, you will see the writing line will be zero because I'm no longer doing freelance writing. So let's talk a little bit about where to find some gigs. I love Upwork. This has been a wonderful place where I found several gigs in the past, including my one with RD Nutrition Consultants. So the thing about Upwork, this is a website, upwork.com. You create an account and it's a place where you can go find people looking for freelancers. They're looking to hire dietitians to write, to do lots of things. The thing about Upwork, there's some amazing gigs out there. There's also some real junky ones. So I really feel like it's all about timing. If you do decide to create an Upwork account, it's really important that you fill out your profile. You make sure it's really clear who you are. You're a dietitian, your specialty, your experience, what you have to offer. But just know a lot of it's timing. I feel like I really lucked out when I got that gig with RD Nutrition Consultants. A lot of it's timing and finding the right gig for you. So if you see something where they want you to write like thousands of, words and they want to pay you $25, just ignore that. It's just, just move past that and look for the good ones because they are out there. So this is my Upwork account. Let's see, I did just a search for dietitian because I want to see what's on Upwork right now. So, we're just going to scroll down real quick. I wanted to show you this. There's some stuff that, I'm like, well, that's not really relevant about, for dietitians, but like here's one, they're looking for a registered dietitian to write articles on weight loss. So you could see here, estimated budget, $125. And if we were to click and go through here, there's probably more details on what they're, what do they want for that price. This one's looking for doctors, dietitians, nutrition writers for health and nutrition articles. Let's see, this one's looking for a registered dietitian for nutrition content review, because sometimes you're not just writing content, sometimes you're going over content someone else wrote and making sure, okay, is that correct? You're kind of being a fact checker, an investigator, and then making edits and writing kind of over that content just to make sure it's solid. So here's one, freelance nutrition dietitian for online program. This budget looks low. Let's look at this. So it looks like this one, they want to hire a dietitian to provide meal plans for an online fitness program. Fixed price, $60. This one seems like one of those ones where they're not paying enough money. I don't know. You could always submit a proposal, send a message and find out really what they want and clarify and kind of negotiate price and all of that. But this might be one of those ones where they're wanting you to do a whole lot of work. Like if they want you to make all these meal plans and write a bunch of stuff for only $60, that might not be a good one. But, this one's $200. Not a lot of details, but I don't want to spend a ton of time going over this, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Upwork.com is a wonderful website out there. Another thing that you can do if you've decided, okay, I'm going to be a freelance writer, I want to get some gigs. So much of it is who you know. And another great place to get freelance writing gigs is actually through LinkedIn. So I like the idea of making sure that your LinkedIn is up to date, have a nice little picture in your background. I have here dietitian, writer, speaker, leader. So making it very crystal clear for anyone who comes to your LinkedIn page that you are a writer and you are available for for hire. Now this is my, I'm logged into my account, so it looks a little different, but if you scroll down in my about page, one of the very first things I say here is I do add that I'm a writer. So if you have decided, okay, I'm going to be a freelance writer, that's probably something you want to do. Maybe right under your name, you want to write like, registered dietitian, nutrition writer, or something like that. Again, makes it crystal clear. You could put in your about section that, you are available for hire for freelance writing, and you never know what opportunity might arise through trying to, dig through LinkedIn, because a lot of people are using LinkedIn and they do find gigs through there. So next I want to talk to you guys about some free resources that I've made for you guys if you want to dig a little bit into freelance writing. So this is my website, dietitiansidehustle.com. I've made a couple little tweaks to updates. I'm still working on it. But if you go to the homepage and you scroll down, you click on this button that says Learn. It says Learn about the side hustle opportunities. I'm probably going to add something at the top like side hustle ideas or something, so I want to make this easy for you guys to find. But if you click on this button, it's going to show some of the primary side hustles. When it comes to being a dietitian side hustler, there are so many things that we can do. Sky is the limit. But I really wanted to provide some information and resources for you all about some of the main gigs. So I did choose freelance writing to start with because I did poll our Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook community, asked you guys, here's some side hustle opportunities. Which ones are you most interested in? And it was pretty overwhelmingly high that a lot of you said freelance writing. You want to start freelance writing. You want to learn more about this. So I absolutely had to make a spot specifically for freelance writing. So if we click on this button, it's going to bring us down to a little section with information on freelance writing. It just talks about some potential writing opportunities. Some of this is going to be a repeat of what I've already said, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt to repeat. So potential writing opportunities for dietitians, writing blog articles, magazine articles, continuing education articles, books, cookbooks, courses, curriculums, newsletters, emails, product reviews, etc. Sky is the limit. Really, anytime you see words somewhere, someone wrote those, and most of the time they got paid to write them, right? So really, there's limitless opportunities for writings out there. How to find a writing gig. These are just a few ideas to get you started. I talked about Upwork, LinkedIn, making sure you update your profile and start networking on there. Now, if you have a specific company in mind that you want to write for, or maybe a magazine or a continuing education company, go to that business's website and scroll to the bottom and look for a section that says write for us or writer guidelines. Now, a lot of different businesses are looking for dietitian writers. So sometimes you just have to search out and find like, okay, who is hiring, who needs writers for dietitians? A good example of that is I shared how I wrote for Today's Dietitian magazine. If you go to their website, you can scroll around and you can actually figure out their writer guidelines, and you can submit a proposal and potentially write an article for them and get paid. Networking is huge. Sometimes it's all about who we know. So put out your feelers, let people know you're a writer, trying to get some gigs under your belt so you can have some samples to show people like, here's what I can do. Here's what I can offer you. So I did have a little section here on how much to charge. There's a big caveat here. There's so many different considerations when it comes to how much to charge, because the key indicator in this is you. How long have you been a dietitian? What's your specialty? What experience do you bring? What's your writing skill? What value do you bring to that company? So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. One thing you'll never really hear me say is like what you should charge, because again, there's so many pieces to that puzzle. But in general, when it comes to freelance writing, there are generally 3 ways you could charge or get paid, depending on whether or not you're approaching the company saying, hey, here's what I'm offering you, versus you're trying to accept an offer from a company. But really the 3 ways are charging per word, per hour, or per project. So industry standard is generally 10 cents per word to anywhere up to $1 per word or more. I have not written for less than 10 cents per word. I would say 10 cents per word is, I've done quite a few gigs at that rate, especially when I first started, but I also have written for more than $1 per word as well. So a big range in there, but I think when you start writing, sometimes you just want the experience. So you start a little lower, and then as you get your expertise, you build your profile, you start, having a lot more gigs under your belt, and you really want to take those opportunities that best fit you, you might start to charge more and more up the ladder. So, but I don't recommend taking anything less than 10 cents per word. So per hour would be, maybe a contractor is going to pay you by hour. So they'll pay you for each hour you do that gig. When I first started doing contract writing for Nutrition Dimensions, I was well, actually not at that point. Later on, I had several hats that I wore throughout that company, but there was a period when I was actually getting paid an hourly rate to do editing and writing work for them. So the last one is per project. So this would be something where you calculate, okay, how long is this project going to take you? Multiply that by your hourly rate, and then you get paid just a lump sum for a particular project. So several different ways that you could charge, but I would say that the most important thing is be confident in your rates. Negotiate if needed. If you see this gig, you're like, oh man, I really want to write for this company, but that's just too low. Negotiate. It never hurts to ask for more money, to negotiate, meet in the middle, and be prepared to walk away if the deal is not mutually beneficial for the two of you. So if you feel like, man, this is going to be too much work, I don't want to take this gig and regret it and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being taken advantage of. This is like, I'm working for free, turn down those gigs and just trust that the right ones will come. So that's what I have to say about what to charge. So I do have some information here on where to learn more. I have my Dietitian Online mini course. This is a free mini course that I designed for you guys. It's all about being a dietitian online, all the cool ways we can make money online. And in this resource, there is a freelance writing checklist. So I do have the link. Where is it? I have the link somewhere, depending on when you're watching this. I might just put it in the comments too, but you can just put your name and address and I email you this. This is a PDF document with hyperlinks in it. It has a bunch of videos, and then it also has these downloads. Right here is the one I'm talking about. It's the freelance writing checklist, and really it's just a checklist designed to get you started with freelance writing. Other resources, if you want to be a writer, you 100% need to join the Facebook community, RDs Who Write, that is run by Anna Reisdorf. She is absolutely amazing. She is a full-time dietitian writer. And I know this is a group for side hustlers. And if you're like, man, writing is so cool. I always thought as a dietitian, I had to see patients. I didn't even know I could be a writer. Well, yes, you can. And there are plenty of dietitians out there who make a full-time living doing freelance, freelance writing, but then almost transitions to some people. That's their full-time gig. That's what they do, is they're writers. So another resource, this is Your Guide to Freelance Writing as an RDN. This is a pretty affordable. I think it's like $47. This is a paid resource also offered through Anna Reisdorf. And I have not purchased it myself just because by the time I found Anna, I'd been freelance writing for a while, but I have heard wonderful things about it. I'm not affiliated with that program, but it's just a resource that, doesn't cost a ton of money that would be really helpful for you guys who are like, oh man, I want to get started. And Anna also has a course. I think it is available different times. I don't know if it's always available. I'll see, she'll post about it, but I've heard wonderful things too about dietitians taking her course. So she is a wealth of information and knowledge. And again, if you're like, man, I want to be a writer, be in her community, be in her world. And then the last one that I'm sharing here is the Editorial Freelancers Association editorial rates. So this is a website with tons of numbers and helpful information about how much to charge, what's industry standard for freelance writing. So let me stop sharing. So that was a lot of me talking. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that this really helped open your eyes to some of the freelance writing opportunities that we have as dietitians. It gave you some ideas on where can I find some gigs, and also just hopefully gave you guys some inspiration to start. The biggest thing that you can do is to just start putting out your feelers, looking for freelance writing gigs, and they're out there, lots of opportunities. And yeah, if you want to be a freelance writer, take advantage of my free mini course, download that, grab that freelance writing checklist, and start writing. Good luck, guys. Bye.